So I'm not quite sure what to do in this sort of few days before Christmas, really. So I thought I'd have a little look at one of my old sketchbooks today. This is an old one. I started back in 2023. And at that point, I think I'd just come back from a trip to St Ives. And this was written about Alfred Wallace. He started a movement from his humble home, and naive paintings died poor, applauded by many. So this is my little inspiration book, I think. I've only had a brief look through it. I always leave blank pages at the beginning of a book because I figure by the end you know what the book is about, and then you can put an index and some of your better work there. So these were photographs that I took at one of those immersive exhibitions in Coventry about Frida Kahlo, which was quite fun. And in February I went to see Monet and Mitchell exhibition, which was absolutely fantastic. So these are photographs from that exhibition. Some of my favourites. You can't get the scale here or the gesture. She's one of my favourite artists. Love it. This is quite a landscapey one. Breaking composition rules. Yeah, yellow may not signify joy. She said that yellow didn't mean that it was a happy colour for her. And then some of them are completely unbridled, beautiful work. And I love the fact that the dog tins were where she mixed her colours, the dog food tins. She must have had quite a few dogs. There were an awful lot of tins. And the pictures of sometimes there's a picture of her sitting on the floor surrounded by dog tins. And I love the way that she has this completely sporadic marks. She worked in oil, and this is more horizontal, more focused in the centre. I could have just, well, we did spend all day there, we could have spent all week there. Beautiful. And then these were trees. Beautiful. These were later Monet, actually, ones I hadn't seen before, much more abstracted, and this one hadn't been finished, and you could see the linen, very muted colours. And I love these pieces that she did. This was poetry that was sent to her by a chap whose name escapes me, and they were behind glass, obviously because they were on paper, and she typed out the poetry, and then she put soft pastels around them, which I loved. And I did some of these, actually. I wonder if I've got one here. Bear with. Ah, yeah, okay. I did some haikus. I'm not very good at poetry, so don't judge. You know, it's another one. There we go. So I did some haikus a couple of years ago, and then used an old typewriter to print them out. And then I had great fun. It's on cardi paper, drawing on them. My little homage to Joan Mitchell. Oh, I like the colours on that one, actually. There's another oil one. So the book does inspire, I suppose. No rules. I like that. More of them here. And then this was still the Paris trip, and this was trip to the Musée d'Orsay. I've spelt Bonnard wrong. I went with my lovely friend Julie, and she said, "Right then, Suzanne." And this lady overheard us and said, "Oh, excuse me, but Cézanne is over there." So that made us smile. So it'd be nice to be a little more Cézanne. I'm only 2 letters off Cézanne, aren't I? Huh. This was the beautiful metal architecture that surrounds some of the subways, the Art Deco. And then this is Orinor. No, I haven't got the first name right. Can't remember. I'm not going to pronounce it right. Anyway, Redon. And I love his work. I love these blues, the way he puts gold in. He did a lot of dark, spidery pictures and drawings as well. I think he's quite a disturbed man. But these were his decorative panels that are in the Musée d'Orsay. Absolutely beautiful. Love his work. And these are close-ups And he uses the blue just pops next to all these neutrals and oranges and yellows. Gorgeous. And look at the variety of marks here. It's like subtle pattern, and the composition is brilliant, just like all holds together. Beautiful on neutral linen. Gorgeous. Bit more Bonnard. Love these. It's only a small painting, but the colours and the muted backgrounds, the neutral, beautiful. This is a page out of my sketchbook that I collaged a lot on, and then when I'd gone down to Cornwall, I'd drawn the boats in. And then this is a lady I love on Instagram called Peakchari, Peakchari. I just love, I love the gesture, and look at the little cute little dog there. And I had an idea of doing people's faces that featured in my life. Haven't done that, did a few. This was my magnolia stage that never really quite happened. It went into woodlands instead of magnolia. Oh, right, and I think this is a photocopy of a piece of wallpaper. And I think that and the magnolias, this is where this came from. So just having a play around with acrylics, that beautiful yellow over the burgundy. I think that's a Indian yellow maybe. And then what's all this? Oh, right, okay, so these were, there's a blog on how when I go out down into the coast of Pembrokeshire, I take photographs of lots of different things that catch my eye, the colour, the pattern, the marks, like the petrified wood and the walls, and then this gorgeous colour from old pottery. And I come back, print those off, and these are the St David's ones as well, black and white. So this is St Non's Cross, or part of it, and this is a coloured one, part of St Non's Well. So I pull all these together in different sizes. These are printed on address labels, like this here. So then I take a label, and then you've got a random mark as a starting point. So that's 6 obviously belonged there. Then you have a random mark. I do a little template with my very technical cardboard, and then that's the starting point for mark making. It is how I turn sort of the memories of a place, the photographs of a place, into abstracting it. This was a little shell, and then this mark from the rope, actually this is featured a lot in my ceramics. I really like making that mark. These were just little warm-ups, I think. More conversations. Yeah, with the little stickers. More little warm-ups. Oh, and then this was, I wrote a blog about this actually. This came from, this exercise came from Emily Ball, and it was how you could make 5 conversational marks. So you lay one mark down, then you apply another one that is very different. So if it's thick and square, you put a fine drawn line. You might have a pastel, then you'd use a graphite. It took a lot of brain power, that actually, for somebody who doesn't really think much before she puts the marks down. I'll reference the blog because there's really good Instagram posts. I like Emily Ball. She does a lot of really thought-provoking stuff. This was using a graphite stick, doing the same thing. And I remember this was a motif from a found piece of china that I've used quite a bit. I like the contrast of pattern and geometry and very gestural, expressive marks. This was a piece of wood that I'd found that I drew around, and it was ply, so I just scratched through with my finger, and then I think that replicates that kind of piece of china I found on the beach. And I haven't got any further, so this needs a bit of work, this book, by the looks of it. Nothing's hiding in the back. Yep, so that's that. And then you might be wondering what this cacophony of colour is. So I've been coming up to Christmas, And I've been doing baubles for Christmas fair, galleries. They've been really good fun. I've been doing with them a couple of friends. So we've been daubing baubles for weeks now. And I found making the marks really quite easy on a sphere, but I found it really difficult on a 2D. I had some 2D, actually they're 3D stars, but I found them really difficult to, the sphere was really easy. So I used up the leftover paints on a piece of paper to see, could I push myself to make different marks without necessarily a source of inspiration. So that's what this is. So I'll just have a little, I'll continue to have a little play with that when I have leftover paint. So that is where I'm at. My baubles before they roll off. Ooh. Okay, there you go. A little look through a book, through a sketchbook, and baubles to end on.